Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So today is Mando Mondays, and we have seen some promotional images for two new figures that will be coming in the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line. The first one here is the Star Wars The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and the Child. So this seems to be one of the packs that was rumoured a while ago on Twitter and on Instagram, and finally we're seeing it here. First thing is though, it's a Target exclusive. That's incredibly frustrating because we know with Target they have had many problems over the last couple of months, particularly with exclusives, some exclusives not even hitting the shop floor, and people buying them in bulk with bots before they even hit the website. So I have to say I really feel for not only the international collectors that this is going to be difficult to get, but as well the American collectors who have had great difficulty with Target in purchasing figures from G.I. Joe, the NECA line from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and now Star Wars. They've also had issues with purchasing Transformers as well too with these exclusives. And I'm absolutely baffled as to why Hasbro keep wanting to push these exclusives. Bear in mind, this is probably the most popular character that Disney, that Star Wars, that Hasbro have now at the moment in this Mandalorian. So it's very strange stuff to see this sort of stuff go towards exclusives. But anyway, I digress. We'll talk about the figure. So here we have an image of it in package. It looks really nice. Now, as we can see here from the picture on the side, it will be interesting to see if there's any other packaging art that will line up against that. We can see the Razor Crest here in the background. I still think it's a missed opportunity that the HasLab project wasn't the Razor Crest, even though I know it would be absolutely ginormous. But still, I think that would have been a very interesting feat and it would have been nice to see in a 6-inch scale. I do think Hasbro got a little bit burned on the TIE Fighter, but we have seen them do the Speeder, we have seen them do the Snow Speeder as well too, and I think the Razor Crest would have been a good thing to do. So in the package here we have Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, we have his rifle, we have a pistol, we have the Child himself, which seems to be in a constant force using pose, we have the backpack, we have the crib, and we have some of the Beskar sheets that the Mandalorian was able to get during the season of Season 1. He also comes with the tracker as well too that he used to track down the Child in the first episode, and ultimately it looks really nice as a set when you look at the packaging. However, it's when you look inside the packaging that you see that this thing starts to fall apart a little bit, insofar as there are a couple of problems I think with this set that a lot of people would have liked to see rectified in my opinion. First of all, there's not a cloth cape. Now for a lot of people I know that this isn't a big deal breaker, but I think for the price that you're going to pay here, which seems to be retailing at $34.99, that's only if you can see it in store and if you can order it online. Given what Target have been up to, it could be a bit difficult for people to actually get their hands on this. When you're seeing characters though like Darth Vader, and yes, Darth Vader is an incredibly popular character who features a cloth cape, why is it that Din Djarin hasn't got a cloth cape here? It's something that fans have been crying out for. The fans really want a cloth cape, and it seems baffling now that we've had multiple releases of this Mandalorian and not one of them with a cloth cape. Given the fact that this is an exclusive, you would expect a cloth cape because the armourer from the Mandalorian did come with an all-new fabric cloak on the back. We have seen soft goods being used with the Range Trooper, for example, from Solo. So this might be another small way of saying that the budget cuts that have been previously reported by myself and Yakface, and Ichibaka has also talked about this as well too, that this could be a real problem. The budget cuts could be coming for this series. Now I know an awful lot of people will say, well hang on, we're getting an awful lot of new stuff here. Yeah, you're getting a fairly unpainted looking backpack. That cradle is going to be reused, I'd say, multiple times. The Child will probably be reused multiple times. As we can see here, it looks like he's all in brown, when we know here there's been a repainted and reissued version of this Child that has a white collar. And then this head sculpt as well too of the Mandalorian, or aka Din Djarin, isn't great whatsoever. Now I'm going to be in the camp of people that absolutely hate these removable helmets. I know an awful lot of people do like these, and I think that's more of a nostalgia factor than anything else. But as we can see from both of these images here, and I'm going to focus in on one image now in a moment, look at the state of that head sculpt I'm going to talk about that now in a moment. But when you have a removable helmet, you can see nearly the chin popping out from underneath it. This was something I wasn't a fan of on the Captain Rex figure. I was really looking forward to Captain Rex, and then I was absolutely devastated to see it came with a removable helmet. The same with Commander Wolf. I wish that Star Wars Black Series, if they're listening into this, and listen up now, do exactly what the Power Rangers Lightning Collection do, which is you have a swappable helmet and you have a swappable head. People won't mind if you have to just pop the head off and put another one on. It aesthetically looks better. It has a better function, which means that the helmet's going to be able to move around a lot more easily, a lot more freer, whereas if it's stuck on top of a figure, it is going to be a lot more difficult to handle. And then you obviously have then a potential of either paint rub or even the mold underneath it being scuffed or pushed in, as was some of the problems that I had seen on Captain Rex. But looking at the remainder of the accessories here, it does look nice. Interesting to see there's no canister to hang on to the Beskar that was shown within the fourth season, so that could be a pack later on down the road, or it could be an accessory that comes with somebody else, maybe the Werner Herzog character, potentially later on coming down the line. And I think that that's what they could do with it. It's generally an awful lot of reuse with some minor smidges of repainting. You obviously have one or two little items within this that I do think will be reused later on down the line. One thing I wanted to focus in on though was this head sculpt, and oh my god, is that dreadful. Hasbro has done some fantastic head sculpts in the last couple of years. I can tell you that the Count Dooku one is pretty good. There's other lines as well too that have done phenomenal jobs. I mean, the Ghostbusters line is absolutely unbelievable. And bear in mind, that was a film from the 80s, and they have absolutely nailed everybody within that line. However, it's interesting to see that even with some of the Power Ranger stuff that's coming out lately, the head sculpts are way off, and this is absolutely 100% way off of Pedro Pascal. If I was Pedro Pascal, I'd be deeply unhappy about how this looks. The jaw is way too big, it's way too wide, and that might be something that has to accommodate that helmet. So if you know what I'm saying about having a swappable head and a swappable helmet, potentially now this head looks absolutely enormous, and he actually looks like Dr. Frankenstein or something, whereas if you cut maybe this piece off here and maybe up here, it tightens that jaw in and it looks a little bit more then like Pedro Pascal. I also think that the coloration in the face is way off as well too from Pedro Pascal, interestingly enough. But I think they've had to make this wide head, this large head, to accompany that helmet and maybe have that helmet to seem like it's a tighter fit. I actually think that if they had had a swappable head and swappable helmet, it would have looked way better. I've seen a lot of customs online, for example, that look way better than this does. But it does make me question what's going on at Hasbro. How can some of the sculpts be really powerful and really well done, and then you have other sculpts that are really way off? Look at the recent episode 2 Anakin Skywalker. It is an absolute terrible likeness to Hayden Christensen, in my opinion. They've started to get really good with Luke Skywalker likenesses after a number of years. You can question that being down to some paint, maybe that would have been the difference. And they have gotten better with likenesses for different characters and actors over the years. But with the technology that they have now, particularly with the 3D technology, and with Bill Burr himself, who was in the Prisoner episode as Mayfield, if I remember correctly, he has said that he went in and he got a 3D scan of his head. So that means he said that was for action figures and for whatever else comes amongst that. Now, if you were the Mandalorian, you were the titular character, you were going in and getting those scans. So to me, there's absolutely no excuse for this head sculpt to be so bad. I know a lot of people will say, well, what would you expect? Same thing with the Power Rangers line. They have 3D sculpts of those helmets. I expect absolute perfection from this. When you see this though, this looks like a lack of care, a lack of effort, and I think that this has definitely drawn the ire of an awful lot of fans out there. So I'd expect by the time this is released, and I actually don't think that they'll actually make the change, but maybe in future releases of this, should Pedro Pascal stay on, maybe they will get a better likeness of him down the road. But I have to say, this looks really, really bad. He looks like Rosie O'Donnell or something like that there. It just doesn't look like Pedro at all, and it's a real big disservice to the actor, I think, in fairness. The next thing that was revealed today was a speeder bike, scout trooper and the child. Now this was an absolute no-brainer, and again it factors into the previous things we've been talking about, which is Hasbro reusing molds and reusing certain figures so that they could slash and cut the budget on an awful lot of this. So we have Star Wars The Mandalorian, Speeder Bike, Scout Trooper, and the Child. Now, obviously, they did appear in The Mandalorian, so I mean, clearly they are going to be able to come out. But I think with the additional accessories on this, and with there not being much of a difference between the original Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike, easy repaint, easy sell. Now, I am going to buy this. I mean, I'm saying this as a person as that is going to buy that, because I was a big fan of how these Scout Troopers acted were in the show. They were bad guys, and I think the way they were dispatched of was absolutely brilliant, and was one of the moments, I think, in a show that was quite tense at that moment in time. It did provide some humorous content, and with the Child being an absolute beloved character, I think an awful lot of people were looking forward to these Scout Troopers getting their comeuppance. Very interesting here. We have the white Scout Trooper Speeder Bike, we have the Scout Trooper himself, and then we have the Child then in a satchel. So the Child looks absolutely happy here and adorable. I know an awful lot of people aren't a big fan of him, but I absolutely love the character so far. We have a nice stand here, a fly stand. Looks really nice. Overall, plenty of reuse. Easy thing to do for the Mandalorian, I think, in my opinion. And I'm glad that it came along. I'm surprised it took as long as it did to come out, but I think with Disney certainly trying to bounce back from some of the stuff that they've released in the previous couple of years, and it's not selling too well, I won't be surprised to see them reusing as much as possible whenever possible. It does have a very nice box. I like the box art on the side. I think the way the Child is here and the Scout Trooper here is really nice. Interesting to see if people pick up two of these, what they will do with the spare Child and the satchel, or will they eventually then have the other Scout Trooper released on a single speed bike with maybe a smaller price tag on it. Remains to be seen. So that seems to be our Mando Mondays reveals here for the Mandalorian. Overall, repaints, new mould there on the head, that doesn't look good. We have a crib finally, that's also been revealed in the vintage collection, so there's not much excitement here. We do not have the canister to put in the Beskar pieces. That's a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to see maybe a lightning effect with this blaster here, given that he does use that within the show. I think that would have been really nice to see, and particularly would have pushed this over the line, I think, in terms of saying, yep, that's definitely worth the deluxe price that it's going to warrant. But I'm actually quite disappointed by this. What do you think about this? Are you disappointed by these reveals? Are you a bit let down? Did you expect much better from this Mando Monday? Did you expect for these figures to be a little bit more going about them? What do you think of the extensive repaints that are being used in this line? Does this spell a little bit of trouble for you for Hasbro Star Wars? Do remember, over the last couple of years as well too, and within recent times, Hasbro did stall on penning another deal with this line. So could that be spelling trouble then, do you think? I think The Mandalorian is a wild success. It depends on what happens in Season 2, if this is going to continue being a success. But I ultimately think then that we are going to see plenty of repaints within this line. What do you think of the Din Djarin head? Do you agree with me that it's a very bad head sculpt? And would you like to see more of an idea of like what the Power Rangers Lightning Collection is doing, which is removable helmets and removable heads so that you can swap them? I think that would be a far better idea. It would be a better likeness. I think it certainly wouldn't have a distorted look to it either, and I think it would work very nicely for the articulation. This being a Target exclusive is super frustrating. It's super frustrating for international fans, and it's super frustrating as well too for American fans, and obviously Canadian fans as well too, who are going to find it difficult to get their hands on this one. I really feel sorry for them people, and feel sorry for everybody that comments on my videos that says how hard that these are going to be to track down, because we are all fans and we do want to be collecting this stuff, even though I think we've been massively let down with the likeness here on this one, and with the fact that the helmet is removable rather than a swappable helmet and swappable head. What do you think about that? Would you think that would be a better idea, that they would have things like that? Do you agree that Target is probably the last place that you would want to see as exclusive? We've had serious problems with the G.I. Joe classified lines, and we've had serious problems with the NECA line. It looks like it might continue with the Star Wars line, because we all know what to expect. There's an awful lot of people already who have given up on this Mando Monday due to this being here. Rumour is at the moment that speeder bike set is an Amazon exclusive. I think that that's a better exclusive to have, because I think internationally an awful lot of people have a better chance at getting that. I also think then as well, generally with the Amazon pre-orders that they've had recently for exclusives, they have done pre-orders rather than saying that they have an instant amount right there and then, and it sells out instantly. The pre-order idea, I think, is a better idea. It's something that NECA did a couple of months ago with the Tokka and Razor figures, and I think that is a better idea for these companies to gauge how many units they need, and that an awful lot of people aren't going to buy them as bots and then resell them on eBay almost immediately. You are guaranteed to see this stuff going live, I think, in another hour or so, and it will be immediately on eBay then for about double, triple, quadruple the price then. That's the way of things that are going at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody that supports this channel and that talks in the comments. I absolutely love it. I'll talk to you later. This is the way. Good luck.